Okay guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. As promised, unlike my normal flaky self, we've got the combo video for you today from my undefeated deck profile. Still the same build. There will be a new build just because I thought of a few changes that I want to make. Some cards that you just don't need anymore, I don't think. But yeah, Quem makes this deck absolutely insane, and although some of these combos don't involve her, she really does raise the ceiling of the deck. To start things off, we will have a few combos just on how to play around Ash, or like how certain cards in the deck work. And then after that, I'll show you some cool combos, even a combo that I figured out when I got double hand trapped last locals, and you're still able to make a pretty awesome board. So I'll be showing you that as well. It was dependent on my hand, but again, you will be able to play through double hand traps. Alright, now let's zoom out and then we'll get into the combos. Okay guys, so for the first combo, I'm going to show you how Nadir Servant actually works. You do need another card to put back. So that could be absolutely anything, but say like you've had your 5 cards, you had Branded Fusion and Nadir, you got ashed. This is how Nadir Servant works. So we're going to start off and we're going to use Nadir Servant, and we're going to send a sprint to the graveyard. That will allow us to add a Fawn of Albaz from our deck to our hand. Put these here. We'll then proceed to go to the end phase. We're going to activate the effect of our sprint in the graveyard, and we're going to special summon our Spriggan's Kit. We're now going to activate the effect of our Spriggan's Kit. We're going to add Branded and High Spirits to our hand, and then putting our other card back to the bottom of the deck. We're now going to, because it's a quick play spell, we're going to chain in the end phase, or activate in the end phase, our Branded and High Spirits, revealing our Fawn of Albaz in the hand and our Albion in the deck, and sending those to the graveyard. We're now, because we are in the end phase, from Branded and High Spirits, we're going to add Macoria. You could add anything. You could add light targets, you could add like Quem, or you could add Cartesia, but this gives you an additional interruption on your opponent's turn. But you could add those to be able to make Albion on your opponent's turn. But now in the end phase, we're going to activate the effect of our Albion, and we're going to set our Branded in red, and then that will pass to our opponent. So how this works is we're going to activate red in our opponent's turn, and we can add Fawn of Albaz back to our hand, and then we can fuse on our opponent's turn, meaning we can use these two to make Lubellion, discard the Macoria to get our Mirror Jade, or we could do something like we can use these two to make Striking Dragon, and then that obviously Macoria will get us an ad. There's plenty of options that you can do, that you can make. You can even just go straight for a Chimera, get a pop and 2 draws. So that's the way that Nadir Servant works, and that's why I kind of like it, because also you can do all this if your Branded Fusion resolves as well, which just raises the ceiling a lot, and you can do niche things with the Albion, which I'll show you another option that you can do now. So guys, we're starting with the same 2 cards, and this is just another variant in case, say like you open the Branded in red. So going for the Albion is probably not the best play. I'll show you now how to do something different. So we're going to go Nadir Servant. We're still going to send the sprint to the graveyard. We're going to add Fawn of Albaz from our deck to our hand. Again, like before, we're going to proceed to the end phase, and we're going to resolve our sprint in the grave and summon our Spriggan's Kit. We're now going to activate our Spriggan's Kit, adding Branded and High Spirits from our deck to our hand, and placing our card back to the deck. We're now going to activate Branded and High Spirits in the end phase, because it is a quick play spell, revealing Fawn of Albaz, and this time Titaniclad the Ash Dragon. I think you guys will know what I'm planning here. We then resolve their Branded High Spirits and we'll add Macoria from our deck to our hand. We're now going to go to the end phase. And we're going, still in the end phase, sorry. We're going to resolve our Titaniclad, which allows us to special summon Quem the Virtuous. So Quem is always treated as a Despia, so you can summon it from like branded opening, and it's always treated as a Dogmatica card. Titaniclad special summons a Dogmatica monster, so you can special summon Quem from the deck. We are then going to, from Quem, we're going to Foolish our Blazing Cartesia and then pass to our opponent. So now, on our opponent's turn, we can use Quem to either special summon our Fawn of Albaz or our Cartesia. But on our opponent's turn, this is why I think summoning the Cartesia is a better option. So, our opponent link summons, synchro summons, does absolutely anything to get something out from the grave. We're going to summon our Cartesia. We're now going to use our Cartesia to fuse on our opponent's turn. And we're going to use the Spriggan's Kit and the Blazing Cartesia to summon our Dusk Dragon. We're now going to use the effect of our Dusk Dragon to send Rindbrum to the graveyard. Now, on your opponent's turn, still, we can use Rindbrum, target the Albaz to summon in our opponent's turn, and we can fuse with whatever they've just summoned from the extra deck to make our Mirror Jade. So now, we got ashed. We started with just a Nadir Servant and a discard for kit. We've ended with a Macoria in our hand to interrupt. We've already interrupted with our Quem. And then we have now got a Banish. This is obviously going to tag out to summon our Lulu Lilith, which is a negate for a card on the field, which you can trigger but with the send from Mirror Jade. So from all of this, so from just a Nadir Servant and a discard, we've ended with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Rindbrum, 6 interruptions. 6 interruptions from just a Nadir Servant. This card, although sometimes the end board doesn't look like much, which has been a few comments at my locals, you can just keep recurring and making interrupts. So this deck is absolutely wild. So that's it for the second combo, guys. Let me get into the third. Okay guys, so I added a little bit of light to the theme. I don't know why I didn't have it on before, but I'm going to show you what you can do with only a branded opening. You're obviously going to open with 5 cards, so it's pretty simple to have the 2 discards. So in the draw phase, we're going to activate our branded opening. It's important that you do it in the draw phase because Droll is in a lot of decks at the moment, so it easily plays around the Droll. You also play around things like Effect Veiler, which can only be activated in the main phase. So it's always better to try and play around as many hand traps as you can. So we're going to activate our branded open, sending our discard and summoning our Aluba to the field. We're now going to activate our Aluba, add in our branded fusion. We're now going to go to a standby phase and then to our main phase. Then we're going to activate our branded fusion, dumping our Fallen of Albaz and our Tragedy to the graveyard. This will summon our Lubellion. I'm going to chain link 1 Lubellion, discarding our other card, chain link 2 our Tragedy that we've just sent to the graveyard. Tragedy will add us Guiding Quem from our deck to our hand. Then Lubellion will fuse with itself and the Fallen of Albaz in grave to make our Mirror Jade. We are then, because we have not normal summoned, we will normal summon our Guiding Quem, activating our effect to Foolish our Blazing Cartesia to the graveyard. We are now, because there's not a lot you can do now, you can do this in the main phase, but it's always better to try and play around things like Nibiru if you can. So we're going to go to our end phase and we're going to go effect of Mirror Jade in the end phase. And we're going to send our Albion from our deck to the grave and we're going to banish our Aluba. This will trigger our Guiding Quem. to summon back Cartesia from the grave. And now in the end phase, we're going to use the effect of Albion, and we're going to set Branded in Red to the field. Now, we're going to pass over to our opponent. On our opponent's turn, although we think that we only have maybe 2 interactions, we're now going to use the effect of Blazing Cartesia to fuse itself and the Mirror Jade and make our Yugioh, the Dusk Dragon. We're now going to trigger our Quem and our Dusk Dragon. Our Dusk Dragon is going to send our Adlib, and our Quem is going to summon back our Mirror Jade. Quem summons back anything that lists Fallen of Albaz or mentions Fallen of Albaz. So Mirror Jade mentions Fallen of Albaz, so you can summon her back from the grave. Now we get to use our Mirror Jade again, send in whatever you want. So sending, where's my other Albion? So sending our other Albion to the grave to give us a follow-up for the next turn. We then obviously have our Branded in Red, where we can target our Adlib, and then we can fuse obviously whatever you want. If you want to make Chimera, you can using these 3, then you get to pop 2 and draw a card. Or if you like to add additional pressure on your opponent, you can use these 2, which I like to do personally, to make a Masquerade, and then you use Adlib to bring back your Mirror Jade. Then again, on your opponent's turn, you can still banish this and summon your Lulu wa Lilith. And obviously guys, you can see now that you can just heap pressure. So we ended with a Cartesia on the field, a Quem and a Mirror Jade with a Branded in Red set, and that turned into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 interrupts. 6, 7 interrupts again, guys, from just ending with 3 monsters and a set card. Really enjoyed that, and again, I know some people aren't playing Masquerade, but this is why I like to play Masquerade, just for stuff like this. You can play Dragons of Tepelia as well, but I choose to play Masquerade. And that's it for that combo, guys. Okay guys, so for this hand, it's basically, you need a dark monster, so you have to kind of start with a Luba, but this could be Branded Fusion and a dark monster in hand. And then what happens if you have Nadir Servant but you don't get ashed? What can you do? What happens? What is this card now useless in your hand? I'm going to show you that this just is like an extender, like a massive extender if you don't get ashed. So I'm going to start with Null Summon a Luba, effect of a Luba to add Branded Fusion. I'm going to activate our Branded Fusion and we don't get ashed. We're going to send our Albaz and our Lubellion, and we're going to obviously do the greedy play. This is going to summon our Albion. We're now going to use the effect of our Albion. We're going to banish our Aluba and our Fallen of Albaz to make our Lubellion. We're then going to use the effect of our Lubellion, discarding the card, then summoning, putting back our Fallen of Albaz and our Lubellion to make our Mirror Jade. We're now going to tribute our Albion, summoning our Lubellion. We'll use the Lubellion to activate our Lost right from the deck. Now then, usually, what do you do now? We've ended on 1 interrupt. 1 interrupt. We've got Lost. Maybe you'd get opening, but now, because of Nadir Servant, we're going to activate our Nadir Servant and we're going to send our Sprint. It's going to be quite similar to the combo number 2. This is basically what we're doing at the end of our combo now. And then we're going to add our Fallen of Albaz to our hand. Then we're going to pass to then we're going to go to the end phase. So, in the end phase, we're going to activate our Sprint and summon our Kit. We're going to use the effect of Kit to get our Branded in High Spirits, and then put in another card back to the deck. we're now going to activate our Branded High Spirits, revealing our Fallen of Albaz and our Titaniclad in our hand, in the extra deck, and we will add our Macoria. We'll now trigger our Titaniclad to summon our Quem. We'll use the effect of our Quem, sending Cartesia to the grave, and then obviously we'll resolve our Albion and we'll get our Branded in red. So now, from what possibly could have been 1/2 interrupts, maybe 3 if you could get a fusion off with Lost, we've now ended on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interrupts, just what is visible on the field. But obviously in our opponent's turn, we will get to activate our Quem and summon back our Cartesia. We'll use our Cartesia and our Lubellion to fuse to make our Dusk Dragon. We'll make it up here. We'll then use the effect Dusk Dragon Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 will be Lost. Lost is going to add us, so you can add like a Fallen of Albaz, or personally I would add a Albion, because this is basically follow up, because you can draw a card and you can send obviously Retribution. And then Dusk Dragon is going to send our Rindbrum to the graveyard. Obviously we still get our Mirror Jade effect, so we can send a card to the graveyard, and then we've got that banished now. We obviously get our Rindbrum, where we can fuse from our opponent. You can do many things. We've still got our Macoria in hand, so you end on like a lot of interruptions. So, and then obviously you can still tag out with your Dusk Dragon. Some cases it might be better to send Ad-lib to the graveyard rather than the Striking Dragon, but it's just again personal preference. But yeah, that's it for that combo. Okay guys, so for this hand, obviously we're gonna shoot Fusion Deployment has become like quite a mainstay in this deck now, because it just lets you play around Ash, so it would be wrong of me not to show you a combo with Fusion Deployment. Still with only 3 cards, although 2 of the cards are fucked. So, standby main, gonna go Fusion Deployment, summon our Cartesia from the deck. Obviously, you have to reveal the Dusk Dragon from your extra deck. Don't forget that, guys. Some people can be like quite cryy about that, so make sure that you do. We're then going to activate our Brand of Fusion. It resolves. Our opponent doesn't have Ash. Happy days. And we're going to send Fallen of Albaz and our Tragedy to the grave, summoning our Lubellion from the grave. We're then going to go Chainlink 1, Lubellion, discarding the Nibiru. Chainlink 2, Tragedy to add. Then if our opponent doesn't have any effects, because you have to allow them if they want to respond, because those are trigger effects, then we can go Chainlink 3, Cartesia to fuse as well. So we'll resolve backwards. We're going to fuse our Cartesia and our Lubellion, summoning our Dusk Dragon. We're going to add Quem from our deck to our hand because of our Tragedy, and then we're going to fuse with our Fallen of Albaz and our Lubellion, making our Mirror Jade. Oh, sorry, dropped Albaz. Then obviously now on a new chain, we're going to go effect of the Dusk Dragon. This is actually going to send our Albion from our extra deck to our grave, so that we don't have to use our Mirror Jade. We're now going to normal summon Guardian Quem using her effect, and in this case I would send Fallen of Albaz from the deck to the grave. Now in our end phase, we're going to use the effect. This is where it gets tricky. So in some cases, I would recommend adding the Cartesia back in the end phase so that you can discard it from the Albaz, but you can leave it there for an option. But for now, we're just going to set our Branded in red from our Albion and then pass to our opponent's turn. Now on our opponent's turn, we have a Guardian Quem that can reborn either a Mirror Jade if it goes to the graveyard, our Albaz if it goes to the graveyard, our Albaz from the graveyard, our Cartesia from the graveyard. We also have our Branded in Red, Dusk Dragon can tag out, and then we've also got our Mirror Jade that we could use twice this turn. So again, although this board does not look menacing, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 from what we reborn, 6 from Dusk Dragon, and then if we use our Mirror Jade again, using our Quem, that could be 7 interruptions on our opponent's turn. So 6, let's say 5, 6 interruptions again from our opponent's turn with only 4 cards on field. I think that is very good. Obviously our opponent only starts with what, 6 cards? So 6 cards, and we can interrupt 5, 6 of those cards. Absolutely wild, guys. This deck is busted. Absolutely love it. Quem is our savior. Although it doesn't directly stop Ash, this card single-handedly helps us play around and through Ash Blossom. So very happy with that. One last combo, guys. I just want to show you a weird hand I had the other day, and then a combo that I did to just keep playing through 2 hand traps. Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you just how I played through 2 hand traps. I played against Super Heavy Samurai, and I got dished with 2 effect negations basically. I'm going to show you how I played through the 2 hand traps here. So obviously our hand, so okay, normally you would think you got these 2 cards, your hand is busted, but again, double hand trapped. So this was my hand, and against Super Heavy Samurai, obviously you know you survive the next turn anyways. So obviously in the draw phase, I started with the Branded opening, trying to play around Veiler and Droll and Lockbird. So I sent the Retribution and I summoned Fawn of Albaz, and then Fawn of Albaz? Aluba. And that's where I got met with the first hand trap, the Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. That was the first hand trap that I got met with. So now we went standby main phase. I'm thinking it's fine, I'll just normal summon my Guiding Quem using the effect, and that's where I got met with the Veiler. So now we are in a bad spot. We started with obviously 2 cards, which are 2 of our best cards, Branded Opening and our Quem, and they have both been stopped. What do we do now? What can we do? So we can go Lubellion, pitch it, and add our Saronir to our hand. Now, because they used Veiler, we can summon our Saronir by banishing their Veiler. We can then use our Lubellion to summon and get rid of our Saronir. Saronir will send our Branded Fusion, to the graveyard. And then obviously we're going to activate our Lubellion to get our Lost. We're now going to use our Branded Retribution that we discarded earlier to get back our Branded Fusion. So through 2 hand traps, we've still managed to get to our best card in the deck. We're now going to activate Branded Fusion. And we're going to send Fawn of Albaz, and we're actually going to send Cartesia to the grave to summon our Albion. Going to use the effect of Albion, Chainlink 1, Lost, Chainlink 2. Lost is going to add us our Albion, the Shrouded Dragon, and we're going to then get rid of our Fawn of Albaz and our Aluba to the graveyard to summon our Lubellion. We're now going to use the effect of Lubellion, discarding our Albion. Then we're going to shuffle back our Albaz and our Lubellion to summon our Mirror Jade. Probably better to summon this in defense. So we then unfortunately have to pass to our opponent, but because it's Super Heavy Samurai, this is already really good. And then we have our Mirror Jade, Guiding Quem can reborn our Cartesia, and then Cartesia on our own is going to get us another couple of interrupts, because we're going to use the effect of Cartesia, fusion our Albion and Cartesia together to summon our Dust Dragon. Dust Dragon is going to be Chainlink 1, Lost, Chainlink 2. We're gonna add our, oh, I didn't sort it out. Oh. Lost is going to add our Mercuria, and then Dust Dragon is going to send our Adlib to the graveyard. You could send something else just to guarantee that you have the interruption, but again, it's not worth sending like the Striking Dragon or anything like that. So yeah, so from playing through 2 hand traps, the Mourner and the Veiler, I still ended on 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 interruptions, depending obviously, because this is going to tag out into something. So yeah, through 2 hand traps, we were still able to set up 4 interactions. So don't sleep on this deck, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. The combos, and yeah, like I've mentioned, this deck is so good. I actually love it. It's just so good, and for the fact I've played this deck for so long, it just feels so much better to be able to have fun with it, you know, because there was a period of time where it was just horrible. It's just not fun at all, and I don't mind them making something to stop Ash. I just wanted to be able to not just die instantly to Ash. But now we can play through a couple of hand traps, and we can combat against Ash like way more successfully now. So yeah, this is now basically a Cartesia Quem deck. Ecclesia has like really helped us and sorted us out. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think of the combos? Let me know anything that you particularly like to do or that you particularly figured out. This deck is sometimes like it's a difficult deck to play for not as much reward, but when you can figure out these little combos or these little lines, then the deck is so rewarding, I feel, and it's just so fun that you can always do different things. But thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.